Hello, everyone. So immediately, elephant in the room, Lionel Messi. He's not coming to Roma. Cue in the sigh, the crowd sigh. Oh, no, he's not coming. He's going to PSG, where he's going to have Mbappe on his right and Neymar back on his left, and they're probably going to devastate all of Europe. I actually, last night, like those reports came out that he was or that Barcelona was even contemplating trying to get him back and seeing what they could do. For a second, I was like, you know what, maybe he's just going to stick it out in Barcelona, but it seemed like just too much has happened. And then today, you see him on the flight. There was even someone filming the flight that Messi was taking, landing, and then he's oddly in his Jordan apparel. Because PSG wears Jordan because of the Nike deal. That goes back to Jordan being a huge deal during the 90s there. Parisians went nuts for him. So I'm not looking forward to playing them, but we're in the Conference League, so I don't think we're going to have that problem. Let's check out some of our friendlies. We wrapped up our big tour out in Iberia between Spain and Portugal, and it's definitely time to look at least two of these. And let's head to Belenenses.
All'Estadio Municipal da Bella Vista di Parcial sta per iniziare la settima amichevole precampionato della Roma. Sta per iniziare Roma Belenenses. Tutto pronto per l'inizio dei primi 45 minuti di gioco. Shaarawy, forse a Pellegrini, sono più serie linee del passaggio. Shaarawy si guarda intorno, aspetta un compagno, qua deve per forza di cose ripiegare su.
All right, so the first thing I noticed besides these weird clips here, Calafiori gets to start El Shaarawy. El Shaarawy is like a mystery to me because he's looking a little bit heavier. He hasn't like hit stride in preseason yet, so I need a response from him sooner than later. I think we're all just begging to see the El Shaarawy that we know and love before he went to China. So let's keep watching. See how he does.
Patrizio, pressing indoor,
Patricio has his blunder there.
Del Belenenses. Si toglie poi col numero di
I don't know what that was. I saw this real time. I don't know if the right back, he starts running away. I think he thought that they were just going to kick it out and stop playing since his player was on the ground. I have no idea the thought process. Because look, he's looking forward like he thought play had stopped. And Pellegrini's like, nah, buddy.
Dentro di Pellegrini per Dzeko in area di rigore, ancora Edin, la finta mette a terra l'uomo, il tiro, la parata.
So it's a nice goal by Edin. Poor Edin.
Calcio d'angolo per la Roma. Ecco il cross in mezzo, la deviazione da parte di Bove, la parata ancora.
La parte di Bove.
Felipe. Quindi Bove,
he's going to turn into a nice center mid Bove for sure.
Gli avversari serve a destra per Kajzba che entra in area, la traspasso in mezzo, la direzione di Edin, il Dzeko, Roma 1, Belenenses 1.
I guess it's kind of null and void to watch Dzeko scoring goals at this point.
C'è Carles Perez, servito. Limite dell'area di rigore, si accentra, pensa al tiro, ancora Carles, il tiro, la palla di Luis Felipe. Il prossimo invece è centrale dentro per Dzeko, il tiro deviato, poi palla fuori, calcio d'angolo, forse con un braccio.
Yeah, could have given him the handball there. It's okay.
Per entrare in area, ecco Zaniolo, ancora Zaniolo. Roma 2, Belenenses 1, il gol di Nicolò Zaniolo. Poi apertura a sinistra per Calafiori davanti a Zaleschi, dentro Mkhitaryan e Majoral. Avanza Calafiori, un paio di finte, appoggia Nicolò Zaleschi che prova a ridarla, ci riesce a Calafiori, dentro il tiro cross di Calafiori. Da questa Pires che perde palla, Mkhitaryan Zaleschi dentro per Mkhitaryan, appoggio per Majoral.
All right, so let's get out. Yeah, good goal by Majoral there. And move on to Betis. So one thing that I really took away from that match was just the way that Pellegrini is occupying such a freer role. I mean, maybe occupying is like the oxymoron of what I just said. He's not occupying a certain role. He's drifting all over. And just looking at that goal. Yeah, lucky one. As I watched Mourinho's tactics through the years, Chelsea, Real Madrid, and Inter, one big thing he's always had is a really good center attacking mid. And that has 9 times out of 10 been a really free role of his. So he likes his attacking mid, whether it's Schneider or whoever's there pulling those strings. At times it was Lampard because he would drift, just to play such a big role. And there, I'm going to stop talking because that was Eldor's first goal. And that was just a peach, right? Let's go back to Pellegrini one more time. Watch this in real time here. So Pellegrini made such a nice flick on for Eldor there, who was just too fast for those defenders. He pieced out on him. Going into this, I thought Eldor was going to play at left wing just by our personnel. But after that goal, I'm like, a player scores a goal like that, how is he not going to play center striker? But I don't know now because we'll get to after this game why I'm confused. What a goal by Fekir. I can't believe Fekir is at Real Betis. That's like, to me, one of the most peculiar moves in football in the past like 3 or 4 years. So I know almost gets on the score sheet there. Geez, they're sweating in those New Balances. Calafiori will definitely benefit, I think, from Conference League. I think that's going to do him a lot of good, and I think that's one of the real advantages of having that tournament this year. Yeah. Let me put the volume back on. It's a little awkward.
The referee's gesture is very clear there. The stands a wee bit silent. Pre-season arrival, one of the summer signings for Roma. As Shomadorov front sleeve the Borja, but that's not a bad effort. That is either a goal or it's handball. Well, the referee given it. I'm not sure about.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry. The guy punched it in our net.
Not to score Moreno. That's another booking for Roma.
That's crazy.
The goal will be given, and now
Pellegrini
has been sent off with a direct red card.
Mourinho gets involved. They love it. The media loves it. They love the hate.
With the home fans. It's not very popular with Mourinho. And I think it has to be said that goal.
Mourinho's like, whatever, bro. You're so wrong.
Neville Fekir goes down. Because Mancini, I think he's already been booked as well, so that's a second.
That's ridiculous.
Yellow card, and subsequently, I think he can be quite happy with his evening's work, despite.
Yeah, we love Eldor. All right, let's stop watching there because I've had enough. Let's come back. Stop the screen share. So that ref obviously made some terrible calls there. Pellegrini has every right to be as upset as he was. The last one against Mancini is nonsense. And I just think that the spirit that this team showed is just like so polar opposite from last year. We never would have saw this type of aggression in preseason or this cohesiveness. Because on the good side of that is that they're a unified group. They even went out for sushi, I think, after one of these matches that we just watched. So you see them really coming together under the moon, Mourinho, right? Because he absorbs a lot of that. And what I don't like about the media, though, is there's all the attention on Mourinho's red card and none of it on that this referee just had a disaster class, like mind-blowingly bad performance. But that's what they do. You know, I learned this at church the other day, and he held up a white sheet of paper. And it's a white sheet of paper, and in the middle of that was a pen drawing, a black dot. So he said, what do people focus on? They focus on the black dot. What's left around it? White. Good. Faith, right? Or whatever, however you want to interpret that. So that's what the media does. And they do it to Mourinho all the time. They're going to keep doing it, especially in Italy. is they want to focus on the black dot. They want to focus on the scribble, right? All right, let's go on to other news. There have been a couple players in the mill, players that I thought were probably going to join. One of those was not Tammy Abraham. And Abraham, in my opinion, is a good player. Is he worth the figure 5 million euros, which was being thrown around? Probably, I don't want to say not, because if he came in, a player like that comes in and scores 20 to 25 goals, you say, yeah, they're worth it. However, based on his past performances, I don't know. Maybe not for a team like Roma. Maybe for a team which has a higher salary overall. Like he could fit in, he could do a nice job, and it wouldn't be so scrutinized because of the financial constraints of Serie A teams versus Premier League teams. So there's that to consider, for sure. I see Mike Middletown joining my stream. What's up, Coach? And Abraham is a good player, and I think he's going to have a big input wherever he goes. If he goes to Arsenal, he's going to score goals. At Roma, I definitely think that he would lock down the center forward position. However, when it starts to become a situation where a player wants so much more than what the rest of the team makes, you come into conflict. And I don't know if Roma is there. I'm not the financial accountant of this team. I don't know the ins and outs of the money the way that others want. You know, I could pull up a picture and see, you know, Dzeko salary and Pellegrini's salary, and they're going to be the highest. But to say that Roma can afford 5 million euros for Tammy, I don't know that for sure. Other players that I would like to see. I can't imagine that we go into Fiorentina without a center mid. I know this regime does things really behind the scenes. I just get a feeling like in the next week or two, we're going to see a center mid come in. If that's Coop Miners or not Xhaka in this case, or someone else they have on a short list, because you got to understand that these teams and these scouts, they're using all types of technology, using Y-Scout to look at every players, you know, every touch that they take and really putting them under the microscope. And Mourinho, of all managers, is someone who definitely knows what he wants. What's up, Cliff? Thanks for that. So I'm definitely anticipating someone there. I'm anticipating if Florenzi does go to Milan, someone to come in, perhaps Dalot, who was at Milan last season, who, according to Menas there on the comment board, was someone that Mourinho brought to Manchester United. I didn't know that previously. So I think that could be like a possibility going forward. Left back, we got a new player, Matias Vina. And I would like to show you one of the, let's see, where is it? The fact file on asroma.com. This one I thought was interesting. With Palmeiras, where he came from, he raised 3 trophies in 2020. Paulista Championship, Brazilian Cup, and Copa Libertadores. The same year, Vina was named in El País Equipo Ideal de Sur America, following a long list of illustrious players to be selected in the continent's team of the season that include the likes of Roma legend Cafu. Here's where it gets a little stranger. That's not the only similarity between the Brazilian that sits in Roma's Hall of Fame and the club's latest signing. The fullback also shares Palmeiras as a former club with Cafu, the first player in history to make the switch between the two clubs. Our keeper, Daniel Fusato, is also an ex-Palmeiras man, further strengthening the links between Roma and their Brazilian counterparts that were founded by Italian immigrants in 1914. Did not know that Palmeiras has that lineage. Really interesting. Other notable things, I'm not going to go through the rest. He'll become the 7th Uruguayan to play for Roma. Speaking of Uruguayans, I think Cagliari just made their 3rd kit light blue in honor of the Uruguayan flag. That's pretty funny. Gigia, Alberto Schiaffino, Daniel Fonseca, Gianni Shigu, Nico Lopez, Mauro Goicoechea. Nico Lopez being a player who I thought was going to be a crack, but ended up not doing a whole lot in his career. Vina has made a total of 116 professional appearances at club level, scoring 10 times and laying on 16 assists in the process. He's got a French bulldog, Gino. So you could follow Gino on Instagram. My sister has a French bulldog, and he's a maniac. And then his coach spoke that he thinks that Vina is most accustomed to playing in a 5-man defense on the left, but he can adjust just as well on the right. For the AS Roma women's team, Vina Kajzba has joined. She's only 17 years old, so it's a pretty wild. 17 years old. What would that make her? Born in 2000, 2003, 2004? Wild. She comes over from the Slovenian side, Pomorje, where she scored 32 goals in 14 games. That's a ridiculous stat. And she's on the Slovenian national team. So good luck to her. Also, the women's they lost the French Cup final in Toulouse against Bayern Munich, but they had knocked out PSG, actually, who has a decent women's team, last Wednesday in the semifinal. We didn't do too good in the final against Bayern Munich, but, it shows that we're on the radar. We are on the map. Other players that have been mentioned, one I really like, and this has just been a name. Once again, I don't know journalists. I'm not really into transfer rumors, but these are just names which float around, right? And he's a really talented center forward who's definitely going to be joining a big team, if not this year, the next year. Alexander Isak. He's 6'3". He's 21 years old. From what I have seen from him, he can use both feet. He's lanky. He gets onto the end of the ball. I think he's going to be a big deal in the future. If he came to Roma, I would be pretty pumped about that. So, Alex Isak, Swedish. One of the last things I want to talk about before I look back at the comments, the person who was put on the cover, the young girl, for Matias Vina's presentation on Twitter, she was found. This is a great campaign. I don't know how many people. It's been a lot of children and missing people who've been found via Roma's campaign, where every time there's a new player signed, they put a missing child or missing person on the cover with it. And they're definitely the first team that ever thought of doing something like that. I believe that comes from Paul Rogers and Alex over at Roma, and that's just been such a successful thing. There's also a campaign going on where you can win one of Zaniolo's t-shirts. Look, let's read more. You've been selected. And then you go down, you go to the contest, and then you find out that if you win or lose, there's 5 days left. Win the signed home jersey, log in. I should be logged in already. No, there I am. Come on. Keep me logged in. What? Oh, email address. Okay. If you need to find me, and wayne.gerard10@gmail.com. I've worn number 10, not because I've talked, but because I've worn it since I'm 4 years old. Okay. Let's make sure this goes through. Oh my gosh. All right. Anyway, I was just trying to show you how it works. It's not working for me because I definitely have forgotten my password. However, I didn't win. I just wanted to go through the interface just to see how it works, and I have no idea. Anyway, let's go back to the comments here. Stop screen sharing. What do I think of Tammy? So we covered that one, yeah. And Sarfraz Khan says, Isak is really good, just didn't get his chance at Dortmund, but balled in Eredivisie and Real Sociedad, as well as the Euros this year. Yeah, he's a really interesting profile. Like, I would love to have him. If Eldor is playing out on the left and you had someone like Isak on the center and then Zaniolo or even Perez out on the right, like that's a tough trident. I wouldn't want to play against that team, especially as we start to reinforce the midfield if someone else comes in as well. And then if you think of players like Kostic who could come in, phenomenal player, right? Talking about a really good team at this point with an excellent manager. So I think Roma has a really high cap with a lot of possibilities to end off the summer mercato. We are the Italian team that has spent the most so far. One of the few teams in the world that's really spending besides of the top EPL clubs. So Isak extremely expensive, has a 90 million release clause, right? I don't know so much about the release clause or if it's I'm not too sure. I haven't heard that. And every time I've read a report, it hasn't come up in conversation. I wouldn't doubt if it's true, but I think that if it was true, I don't know if that name would be floating around Roma's social networks and forums and newspapers. Cliff, thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. You know what to do. Thanks, and I'll talk to you soon. Keep the comments coming. Ciao.